Hello everyone, welcome to episode 2 of the CRASSCAST Gaming Podcast for Sunday the 22nd of January 2017. My name is Matt, and with me from last week are Owen, Ryan, and unfortunately, Chris.
Oh,
that's not very nice, man.
It's justified, though.
I wasn't really there last week, so...
Yeah, and I assume you won't be here this week either.
Not really, no. I'll leave, I'll probably leave halfway to, eat to then come back. You won't know.
The name of the episode is
I can't believe
Chris checks out.
We've been waiting to do this podcast for an hour, and he's talking about eating halfway through the podcast when he had
Chris
an hour
just eats all the time. He's had dinner. He's just eating.
I swear he gets multiple pizzas delivered in the same day.
Yeah.
Okay, so later in the show, we're going to be going over why the Wii U failed and discussing some more Nintendo Switch news, and also deciding if the Nintendo Switch will follow in the Wii U's footsteps. But before that, we're going to go over what we've been playing this week. And as the only one here who plays video games, I'm going to start with Ryan. What have you been playing this week?
Hey man, I finally finished Odin Sphere. Sphere, I think is the sub thing. It's the remake of the PS2 game, and I think it came out last August, and I've been playing it on and off since then.
I actually don't know anything at all about the game. What is it?
It's like an action RPG, like a 2D side-scrolling one.
Mm-hmm.
So you can build up combos, but there's also RPG elements like stacking up potions and leveling up. And
so is it like a brawler type thing?
Yeah, it's kind of like a beat 'em up, but with light RPG stuff to it.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay, and how did you find it?
I really liked it. I always wanted to play Vanillaware's games just because of how good they look. They're really fluid and just look pretty. And supposedly the PS2 version had a bunch of little problems, like item management and slowdown was a big issue. And they completely fixed any issue that the original had.
That's good.
Yeah, so, that was fun. It took forever to finally beat it. 2 days ago, I started Gravity Rush 2, but I'm only maybe an hour and a half in.
I like how they put her protruding nipples in that game.
Yeah, for some of the new costumes, they added nipples to her model, and I don't know why.
Because Ryan I was at work. Ryan sent me a picture of the main character. She was like, "Hey, look, man," and I thought it was some thirsty ass on fucking NeoGAF photoshopping it or something, but no, it's actually a thing. The main character, I think her name's Kat, was wearing a vest or something, and you could just see her nipples through it, very obviously.
Yeah,
come on.
Before the game even arrived for me, I had saw a GameFAQs
I was
post.
already looking up Kat's nipples.
There was a GameFAQs post of someone who's here's the nipple pic, and people were thank you, and I'm like, okay.
So it's got some Batman and Robin nips.
Yeah, just protruding from a tank top, and then some other outfits, it's still showing up, and I don't know why.
Good game then.
how do you actually find the game itself?
It's definitely they definitely beefed it up. They made it on a bigger scale. It's not just a Vita game ported over remastered was.
Yeah, because alright, so it was a Vita game originally, and then they ported it to the PS4. But then this was made from the ground up for the PS4.
Yeah,
right?
and a lot of people to this day are still fuming over it, saying that
the Vita's only video game.
Yeah, the Vita lost its only
game.
Exclusive. That was good.
Now people will be able to play it.
And the thing with
now, unlike the Vita, you'll be able to see her nipples.
Yeah, and with
the Vita screen, where they'll probably just smush into.
With 2's release remastered, which only came out physically here in on Amazon, they were the only ones to hold it physically because it was fan demand. Because initially they weren't going to do retail release at all. Now that's going for well over $100. I guess just because of demand. So now people are freaking out over
that. Okay. Anything else, buddy?
No, that's
it.
That's about it.
Owen, have you been playing real games?
It's a lie that Ryan hasn't played anything else, but it's nice of him to not hog the entire hour length of the podcast.
I don't know. Well, there's nothing I've played that's worth mentioning or going into. I don't
What
think.
else has he been playing?
No.
Well, was Gravity Rush worth mentioning, to be honest?
Damn.
That's the
Oh.
big game, man. That's my next big project.
Got some perky nipple jokes in there. Get it?
Shut the
No.
fuck up.
No, not particularly. You just kind of repeated what Ryan was talking about earlier on.
Owen, what have you been playing?
I played I've not played many video games recently.
Ever. Oh, shit.
Yeah, but one thing I have played, or I haven't played anything of note. I've played like the usual bullshit that you don't want to hear me talk about.
And this is the first time we're doing this segment.
I think it's
No,
referring
I mean,
to us
I mean,
in
just in
general.
general. I don't mean on
give
the
a shit.
podcast. You don't give a shit about like the 2 minutes I spent playing Destiny, do you?
Oh.
What about the viewers? They might.
Well,
They don't know about your Destiny.
I
love
spent
affair.
about 2 minutes playing Destiny today before I realised, or not today, earlier this week.
Wait, I hate this game.
Yeah,
It's
before I
awful.
realised, I don't know why I'm playing this game because I've done everything that I give a shit about doing. So what I did play instead is because I played the Neo Last Chance demo, as they call it. It's like,
Ooh, the Destiny killer.
Oh yeah, today's the final
Yeah.
day for that as well.
yeah, it is. Yeah, so I downloaded that. I think it was like a weekend thing. So I downloaded.
I'm not
it the
aware.
other
What
day.
is this?
Neo is like a Dark Souls clone.
It's basically by Team Ninja, and it's
Yeah.
being seen as like a return to form, like a Ninja Gaiden kind of thing, where like you have to have really precise dodging and all that. So it's being compared to Dark Souls a lot.
So this will be the
Yes.
next hardest game of all time.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
yeah.
it's all
I
right.
hate everything.
It's all right. It's a bit of it is kind of like artificially hard, where there's just people with like stupid amounts of health in the first level. I don't know
I
if the
ran
first
into
level.
that on the
Yeah.
beta.
I don't know if the first level is actually the first level of the game, but there were just enemies that just had a ridiculous amount of health.
Mhm.
Basically, straight away, I thought, yeah, that's kind of not. It's kind of taking the piss a bit. It's a bit interesting. There are some things that kind of make it stand out because I know that, like, you will say, "Oh, well, it's not like Dark Souls. It's more like Ninja Gaiden." But no, it is like Dark Souls.
No,
because
it's
it is literally.
it's very
like,
similar
it's-
to Dark Souls.
It's
in
so much
structure.
more Dark Souls than Ninja Gaiden. It's like it's got the same shit where like you can put down notes and there's you can see where people died and shit like that, and you can things like that or whatever.
I like how the biggest things you could say are fucking leaving notes. And being
Well,
like,
that-
this is
I
what
mean,
people
that's-
died.
I mean, those
Out
are
of
kind
everything.
of those are the kind of big things that people always think of, and those are the kind of
It
things
has
that people
weapons.
reference.
Well,
Hey,
it's-
I was gonna say, like, I
They
mean,
kind of are.
I've never played like any of the Dark Souls games, so like just hearing you can see where people died, it sounds like
No,
such a-
but it is because
generic
it's
thing.
because like being able to see where someone died is supposed to like help you avoid dying the same way and that kind of bullshit.
I guess that makes sense.
Most of the
because-
time, it's people falling off the map, though.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because in this game it actually tells you how they died as well as like the fact that they just died, so it gives you a lot more information than any Dark Souls game has. And it is shit like they fell into the water. It's like, oh okay,
The-
I know not to fall into the water now.
It's interesting to think of how long they've had this like structure for the game because it's been
Yeah.
in development since PS2 era.
Yeah, it has, and to me it I don't think it was always the same.
No,
I
they
think-
probably changed
yeah.
it up.
They're pulling a bit of a Paladins, is what you're saying.
Why it was
Wow.
Paladins in development for years?
Yeah.
I never knew. So yeah, well, then yes, they are because they copied the success of another game that was similar and then thought, fuck it, we'll rush it out the door now that we have something that we can work with and know will sell because
And
It is.
yeah, just for those who don't know, Paladins is Overwatch for poor people and Russians. So
yes.
just in case you're not aware.
I've still
I
not
don't know.
played
Like,
Paladins.
although I don't have any experience with these games. Like, it is like the only game I can think of where it's like a single player game where you can see where other people have died is Mario Maker. And like,
Yeah,
although
yeah.
completely different games.
No,
like,
Mario
it is
Maker
really...
is the Dark Soul, is the Mario of no. What's the
Shut the
phrase?
fuck up, Owen. You ruined
Yeah,
this.
what's the
Forget
phrase
it.
that people use? Is that the dumb phrase that people started using, where they're like, "This is the Dark Souls."
It's the Dark Souls of
racing
platformers
games, or-
would be what you would say.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Anyway, you
trying
fucked
to
it
say.
up.
I did,
Also,
yeah.
But it's always like funny going through levels and being like, you know, you die somewhere and you just see like the thousands of X's go down like in the same place. You know,
Yeah,
okay, I'm not that bad.
yeah.
There's also something to note with the Neo demo. Like, it is a demo, but if you actually happen to complete it, you'll get a form of DLC. I don't know if it's like a weapon or something like that, but some exclusive DLC for the main game when it's
Oh, really?
finally out.
Well, by the time you're listening to this now, it's over. So,
It'll be
fuck
too
you.
late.
Yeah.
It was the same for the previous 2 demos as well, so...
Jesus, there's more than one demo.
There was
Yeah,
an
they had,
alpha,
like, some
a beta,
betas.
and then the newest Last Chance, because they were building the game off fan feedback.
So when's the game out?
Next month at some point, I
Yeah.
think.
Damn.
I think late next month.
Alrighty, Chris, I know there's basically no point in asking this question, but have you played anything this week?
Well, Owen's been playing Neo, and I've been playing Neopets. That's
Are you fucking kidding me?
that's not a joke. What do you? Oh, as if you didn't know.
No, I mean, are you kidding me? You're actually going to bring that up on the podcast.
Sure, why not? A Donkey made a Neopets video about
Oh my god! Please don't.
about 100 months ago, and I was like, oh, I remember Neopets. I'll sign back into that. And
How's your fedora-toting bird doing? Is he still starving?
I know he's very well fed, like I am.
Morbidly obese.
He's pleasantly plump.
But moving into shit that isn't memes, I've also been playing Duck Game and Super Chicken Horse, which you can watch on the
they don't
YouTube channel.
count their videos on the fucking channel.
They were the
just
first time
I
you
was
played them,
obligated
though.
to play these games.
so head over to the YouTube channel and have a watch of those, or don't.
Give me that
I don't
fucking
really
break.
care either way. But I've probably been playing something else, but I don't remember. I thought we gave up on this segment because we don't play games.
We
but-
didn't
Well,
even play Overwatch this week.
You
We
could have
normally
just
play
said,
that all the
I
time.
haven't done anything, but I haven't played anything, but you decided to answer the question, so really you dug your own grave. Anyway,
Chris,
Well,
I'll cut this out for you if you want, because
No,
it's
it's fine.
no,
it's,
I'm
it's
sure
always
really
talking
not
about
even-
doing
he's
it.
gotta live with his
about
shame.
Neopets.
it's pretty embarrassing that you mentioned you were playing Neopets. How old are you, Chris?
Too old.
Was it your birthday last week?
It was, yeah.
And you're 25 and you're playing
20.
Neopets?
I'm 20.
And you're
Five.
Oh, I
fucking
don't know.
old.
That's a lie.
20.
Chris is the granddad of CRASSCAST.
God, you're so fucking old.
Anyway, besides, like, I mean, I've been playing Overwatch a bit this week, but everyone knows about Overwatch. There's not really much to say. But a game I have been playing...
For listeners who don't know, would you like to explain Overwatch?
Overwatch
What's
is
Overwatch?
a class-based first-person shooter where you play as colourful gay people and you shoot each other.
Keep 'em out for
Overwatch
Harambe.
is Overwatch
Keep 'em
is
out.
paladins for people who aren't poor.
Yeah.
For people with money.
It's the deluxe
Um,
edition.
But besides that, I've been playing the game 999. I'm 7 years late for this.
Right when the
it's-
remake's coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking I'm gonna pause this because I'm like a few hours in. I'm gonna pause it and like get the Nonary games, which
Yeah,
is
that's what I'm
for those who
considering.
don't know, it's a remake. It's going to be on the PS4, Vita, and I think Steam.
It is on Steam, yeah.
And yeah, it's the first and second game, like in HD. But I've been playing the DS one, and it looks like arse. But the game itself isn't. So it's like a visual novel kind of puzzle.
Right.
It's like
game.
it's like escape the room kind of.
Yeah,
puzzle
exactly.
game.
All the puzzles are basically escape the room. And like even when they're really simple, like puzzles, there's kind of a bit of added tension with the whole thing because basically all of the decisions from how you perform in the puzzles to your conversations with other people can lead to the death of either yourself or other characters that you may care about. So I don't know. I just find the whole thing really interesting for a game that's literally just reading and doing like the same kind of puzzles you get on Newgrounds. It's really
Yeah, and
I like
people
it.
say
Well-
that all 3 games are connected in some manner.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
I
I'm just
don't
on the
know
first
because I
one,
don't
so
want
I
to
don't know
spoil
yet.
anything for myself.
Well, speaking of that, actually, I do actually have something to say about this game. Ant Dude 92, he's not going to listen to this because no one's going to listen to this
I already
podcast.
know what
But
you're
Excuse
talking
me,
about.
Chris.
I'm going to pretend he is. Fuck you, suck my dick, because
What?
in his podcast about 1 billion years ago, he spoiled 999.
If you spoil it for me, I'll
And
kill you.
He gave out. He was like, "Oh yeah, I've been playing 999, and this happens. This huge spoiler." And he's like, "It's been out for a month, so if you didn't know, then
I've heard
it's-
in 999, there are 6 different endings.
oh, so it's
So whatever.
Yeah,
I
there are
spoiled one of
multiple
them.
endings based on
Might
your
not
choices
have, like,
and
you know,
time.
Because
I think.
there are different doors you can choose and different characters. So for those of you who don't know, the game basically what happens is you're a guy called Junpei. You're kidnapped and you're taken to a ship somewhere in the ocean. And soon after escaping from your room, you meet up with 8 other people, and basically it's then revealed that this random guy who calls himself Zero has kidnapped you, and he wants you to take part in a human experiment called the Nonnery game.
A social experiment.
You're also
Maybe it is.
fitted with a pretty snazzy watch.
It's just a prank.
Just a prank, bro.
But the cool thing about the game is like it's called 9 hours. 9 hours, 9. I don't know the order. It's 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors.
I
or
think
something
that's
like
right,
that.
yeah.
But basically, you actually get 9 hours to beat the game. Or the ship's in.
$9 at the Walmart bargain bin.
It's probably less than that at this point.
Yeah.
But it's good. Basically, there are like strict rules you have to follow, while you're aboard the ship, or you'll explode because you have a bomb placed inside you.
Oh.
So, yeah, basically, I like that how every little decision, inside of the gameplay and out, has its own consequences, and I'm finding it pretty gripping. So I'm looking forward to the re-release later on this year, which I think is only slated for Q1.
For here,
2017.
it's got a March release. Comes out the
Suck my
same
dick.
day as Danganronpa.
I may import that.
I think it's
All
like
right.
March 14th or some shit. I don't know.
Okay, so to begin with, like I said, we're going to be talking about the Wii U, but also the Switch. But first, let's talk about the Wii U, because that's our topic for the week, and then we'll use that to segment into whether the Switch is going to make the same mistakes or why the Wii U failed. Now, anyone, feel free to go first. What is your biggest reason you think the Wii U failed as a console?
This is supposed to be just an hour-long podcast, so we can't go over all of why the Wii U failed.
We could just say completely, like everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it didn't. I think it certainly didn't help that the Virtual Console was far shitter than the Wii. That doesn't quite help that much.
I would say,
To this day, it's still more limited than the Wii's.
To be honest, to the average consumer before they buy a console, I don't think they look in.
It matters to me
the console too much. I think the biggest thing, well, one of the biggest things anyway, in my opinion, was the name itself.
Yeah, that's what I was
and the
gonna say.
confusion that led in to everyone being like, is it like an upgraded version of the Wii?
Or is it just a controller?
Yeah, is it just the controller? Speaking of which, the fucking controller, complete and utter shite.
It's going to be a pain to get replacement controllers down the line as well, just because to buy a controller, it's well over 100.
Well,
I buy them on
not
their
only
own,
is it
can
like the controller itself just feels like a shitty slab of plastic. Like with say the Wii and the Switch. I mean, from the looks of the Switch, Nintendo, their gimmick with it, they've kind of at least tried to use it quite a lot in different games, and in the party games or whatever they'll use it. But think about the Wii U gamepad and how many games really had a use for it.
Well,
Well, a
even
lot
when
of
it
There
games-
isn't
did,
actually
it's
that
like,
many.
when it did use it, it turned out to be shit. Like, look at Star Fox. It had to use the gamepad, and it made it a pile of shit.
Well, a
Well,
lot
that
of
reminds me
games
of. Sorry,
use-
go on.
I was going to say a lot of games, because I have this as a note, a lot of games, first party and third party, just ended up using the gamepad as either a map or your
Yeah,
inventory.
But okay, that's good. Okay, Zombie U.
That's nice, Owen.
Yeah, well, whatever, Owen.
Okay.
Zombie U had a good sort of concept where it was your inventory, and you'll be able to sort of drag stuff along. And because the Wii U gamepad was such a piece of fucking shit, with its resistive touchscreen, which was incredibly dated, even what was it,
Even
2012
then,
when
yeah.
it came out.
Yeah.
When you try to drag your finger across it, half the time it wouldn't even work. So even nice ways it was used didn't work in practice because it was a terrible resistive screen.
Yeah.
And I remember, the Stockholm that some Nintendo fans had about that screen. I remember K-Wing's review where he said, "This is the most beautiful screen I've seen on a tablet. I really hope Nintendo make TV screens." Are you fucking kidding me?
God,
Most
I
beautiful
like how
screen you've seen.
for like the last few years, I've like heard Chris say the exact thing. Like every
That's-
time the Wii.
Well, when I watched that
screen's
K-Wing
up.
review 4 years ago, and it's
I like
really
as-
rattled your bones.
As far as the Wii U like controller, I never had problems with like comfortability or anything like that. But my God, the rumble in that thing was so fucking shit. It
I always
sounded
turned
like
it
a
off.
piece of plastic was just rattling inside all the time.
wait, it had a rumble.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
had rumble in it, and I tried to
Yeah,
play
I didn't know
Bayonetta
either.
just because I was too lazy to get my Pro Controller out. I had the Switch. I couldn't keep the rumble on. It's so bad.
Speaking of Zombie U, because you brought it up earlier, the launch lineup, which the two main ones I really remember were New Super Mario Bros. U and Zombie U.
Yeah.
I don't really remember. I mean, I think there were others, but I don't
There were
remember.
Yeah, there were-
Scribblenauts
there were a
here,
bunch
but you
of
guys got it like a
third-party
year
launches.
later.
Nintendo Land. But funnily enough, though, the Wii U still had a better launch lineup than what the Switch is going to get.
Yes, absolutely.
So, oops, I guess. But yeah, the Wii U's launch lineup was, I'd say, in retrospect, was pretty good, just because the Switch is even worse.
I mean, I would take
yeah, I
Zelda
mean, we'll get onto
over
that.
another
We'll get
new
onto
Super
that.
Mario Brothers, at least.
But Super Mario Brothers, whatever it was called, was actually
New
pretty
Super Mario
solid.
Brothers,
It just
it was
wasn't.
a solid game. It was just it was the fourth one, and it came out a year
Boring.
after the previous
Garbage.
one.
And full price.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the biggest things that I had as well was the online being complete shit, like always. A big reason people will buy consoles is so because it's the one that when people are choosing which console to buy, they want the one where they can play with their friends and everything. And not only did it have the shit online that barely ever worked, it didn't have good features to join your friends and play with them. Not only that, the proper games your friends were all going to be want to be playing, the Call of Duties and the FIFAs and that, didn't have on it because next point, shit third party support, which I guess is a curse of Nintendo now.
You say that, but the Switch, the Wii U launched with Black Ops 2 and a FIFA. I don't know what
Wasn't
FIFA it was.
Black Ops 2 the old one at that point though?
No, it was the year Black Ops 2 came out.
I think it got
yeah.
gimped in the long run because I don't think it received any of the DLC.
But it had online multiplayer and it had zombies and it had a campaign, so it was the full game, which I was surprised by.
Right,
as
but
well.
then that doesn't that still doesn't nullify the thing
Oh,
of
yeah, absolutely.
how the online was complete arse, and I think that was probably the only did it get the future Call of Duty games on it?
No, God, no.
Same with
I was
Assassin's
thinking.
Creed. They bailed. They pulled out after that.
Yeah, they did Assassin's Creed 3 again. That was a launch title, and they didn't release 4.
And
on it.
Mass Effect 3 came out, but
Yeah,
not
that's
the
true.
collection
Is
with
that
1 and
true?
2. Yeah.
I didn't know Mass Effect 3 was on it.
Yeah, and
They did.
the collection with 1, 2, and 3 came out a few months later for PS3 and 360.
Did they do? Was it Arkham Asylum or Arkham City?
It
One
was
of the
City.
two came out.
It was a pretty crusty game when it came out, though. It was
I think it was a year
Oh,
old,
yeah, yeah.
or at least 6 months.
and it was
I
a
think,
pretty poor port as well.
Yeah,
the
from what I heard.
last kind of big thing that I could think of was how underpowered it was compared to its peers at the time.
Well, it wasn't.
It was the same thing
It
with the
kinda
Wii, though. So
No,
it was
I mean
something
it was
just took in
no,
stride.
it was underpowered. I mean, it wasn't so. I mean, to the Xbox and the PlayStation. Sorry, the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
Then once it was the Xbox One and the PS4, it just got blown out the water.
The thing, and like
Left
it
in
being
dust. That
it
was
being,
like the killing blow, I think.
it being HD actually hindered them because they said the reason that releases were so like stagnant during the first year or so was because they had never developed in HD. That was their
Well, I mean,
excuse
that's
for a lot of
really far
titles being
behind.
held back.
That's a really weak excuse.
That's a terrible.
I mean, they
yeah.
usually have weak excuses, yeah.
It's Nintendo.
They always
And,
have like a very bare release schedule.
Pikmin 3 did look like
Complete
wasn't that
shit.
that was one of the excuses I used for delaying Pikmin 3, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure
Probably.
if I remember correctly, but that did look like shit anyway.
It was
So-
it was a Wii game that was upscaled,
Yeah.
or at least like updated. It was initially developed for the Wii before it was held back.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay, did anybody else before we move on? Because it's basically the same topic, talking about the Wii U and then using the new information for the Switch. Did anyone have any, big things or maybe even little things they could think of, that really held the Wii U back? In terms
I think
succeeding?
the only thing I can think of is with Nintendo, and I've brought this up, is just like its bare release. Like I recall, like one summer there was absolutely nothing for like 4 or 5 months from the beginning of summer, and we even had games delayed in North America. Like you guys got Woolly World in I think like June. We didn't get it until like October. Just
Wasn't
because
there-
there was a gap in the release, so they held it back.
Wasn't there 3 games last year? Or
Yeah,
something?
there was
Well,
there was Star Fox, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and then Twilight Princess HD, and then
I think-
Paper Mario, which
And I'm already seeing people saying like, "Oh, the Wii U had a really good sort of library of sort of exclusive games. Yeah, it didn't have these multiplats, but it didn't really have a good library of exclusive games. It's got
no.
it's got a few. I mean, Wonderful 101, which is I haven't played it, but
it's pretty
Yeah,
solid.
I've heard it's good.
yeah, I've heard very good things. It's got Bayonetta 2.
Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze was pretty good.
I mean,
even
Yeah,
I
though
basically
no one thinks
only
of it.
bought a Wii U for Super Smash Brothers, and I played it for like I think at this point over 1,000 hours. So
Yeah, but
I
then
think I got my
it's-
money's worth.
It's got I'd say probably about 5 or 6 solid games on it, but it's
Smash.
that.
And some of them have been ported over to the 3DS
Yeah.
now of all things.
And
Oh, yeah,
some
like
of it being ported over to the
I was
to
going
the
to say,
Switch.
like, because thinking about it, I think the only other Wii U game I put any time into is going back to the Dark Souls of platformers, Mario Maker. Actually played that a shitload. Like, I didn't do much of the level creating, but I loved just going into, random people's levels just to see. Because, goddamn, like, the game itself, the levels that Nintendo give you and that, not that great, but how creative some people get with all the options they give you is like marvelous.
And
I
they
think-
Good game.
updated it. They were pretty diligent with how they were updating the game.
And I think like I really hope that does actually get. I really hope Mario Maker gets ported over to the Switch because I think it'll be one of the games that would really sort of excel there because for more sort of serious levels, you don't want to look at a tiny screen, but it is also something that's really sort of pick up
like
and
because
play.
the screen wouldn't be because like whenever I tried to make levels and stuff, I just hated using the Wii U gamepad. So like having like a proper capacitive touchscreen.
Imagine doing that with
might
the
not.
3DS version that came out like late last year.
Well, yeah, fuck that exactly. That's my
Man,
point.
like they released like a severely like gimped version of it, and I
Mhm.
don't know why. They're doing that with Woolly World, Yoshi's Woolly World next month, but apparently that's pretty faithful. Like it's still 60
I assume
FPS.
they're really trying
all
to like, just throw the Wii U under the bus, completely abandon it. Like,
Yeah, I mean
it's
they
the
stated
only
this
games
week
people
already
give a shit
that
about.
they're not
It's,
even gonna
Woolly
lie
World
and say
and,
they're still supporting it
the
now.
previous
They
one.
straight up said that Zelda will be the last first party title released for the system.
And meaning
yeah.
the last game, full stop, because no one is going to release anything on the Wii.
Yeah,
U
most
after
people are
Nintendo stops
jumping
supporting it.
ship like a lot of
They'll
games that
probably
were
be
planned.
Just
are
Dance or
moved
something.
over. Yeah, it's guaranteed a Just Dance will still release. I think 2017 is coming out on the Wii U, and I said this last week that
2017 is out, isn't it?
I don't know. I had mentioned last week that Just Dance would be the first game to be on 3 Nintendo generations at once.
Yeah. Right. So I think that's it.
I do have one thing I want to say.
For fuck's sake! All right, what is it?
Well, you were all talking, and I wanted to say something.
And you're usually a loudmouth. You should be shouting over everyone.
Fine. I just want to say that you mentioned things like it doesn't have good first-party lineup, it doesn't have good third-party lineup, it doesn't have good fucking online or whatever. The average consumer, especially the people who bought the Wii, because they were clearly trying to ride off the success of the Wii. It's why they called it the Wii U rather than just giving it a new name, because, why else would you do that? It made no sense. They'd never done it before. Whatever. The people who bought the Wii did not have a good enough reason to buy a Wii U. They were never given a good enough reason to buy the Wii U.
I'd say if anything, it was more confusing than
exactly.
the motion controls of the Wii.
To be honest, I think the main reason, because I do believe that the main reason was because of the consumers that came over, didn't come over from the Wii. I mean, although you can say, they didn't have a reason, but most people I have that have ever come in to where I work and they're after video game consoles, they're just like, they don't really know or care about the reasons of anything. It's just like, I saw Ant and Dec play it on TV, so I want one. I think people were just confused with the Wii U, and that's why they didn't get it. I don't think it, I would say, to be honest, that is the main reason, and it doesn't delve much deeper in. The other reasons are mainly why the Wii U's a shit console.
Oh, yeah.
Not why it didn't perform. Because the Wii, I'm not a big fan of the Wii. I know Ryan's going to fucking deck me for saying that. But I think the Wii is complete garbage, but it was definitely a success.
I'm not going to get fully into why I'm all for the Wii.
Yeah, Matt's wrong, but there we go.
I guess my point is that...
Elaborate?
My point is that there's it depends, because if the Wii U had sold well, would it have got better third-party and first-party support, a better library of virtual console games or whatever, because it was selling well?
I don't think so, no.
No, I think it's because it'd be hard to develop for.
Maybe a couple things like the third-party support and things. Maybe, would have got a bit more of a fire lit under that, but for some of the other things, like, I don't know, the online and how it grew pretty quickly to be very underpowered and shit like that, kind of doomed out the gate. But Chris, what were you going to say?
I do remember a little bit too late where maybe I'd dreamed this or something, but they had TV adverts and campaigns going, the Wii U, it's a separate console. The new console by Nintendo. The new console. Not just a controller.
I do vaguely remember that.
I think, wasn't that quite a bit later, though?
Yeah, way too late.
Because people got confused. I
want to say it's like Chris Tarrant or something going, it's a separate thing.
It's not the Wii? You're right. It's the Wii U.
It's the same thing
with the console.
They do the same thing with the 3DS now. Did you buy a new 3DS, or do you mean a brand new 3DS, or the new 3DS?
God, yeah.
I hate
that's a really confusing name as well.
And now there's the 2DS, the 3DS XL, the regular 3DS. It's just
yeah. Oh my god, the amount of people who come in to my store and they're all like, "Will a 2DS play 3DS games? Is it different? Is it like the old one?" And I'm like, I fucking hate Nintendo so much.
Yeah.
They go out of their way to make things confusing.
The Wii U's out of stock. I guess I'll just get my grandson this Wii instead. I'm like, not the same thing.
It's literally not the same thing at all.
Anyway, now are we done?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say something to lead on to the Switch, I guess, because your answer to my question of would more sales have got better first party support, and you all said no, then what the fuck's going to happen with the Switch?
Well, I mean, all right, so the main thing for the Switch is which is already happening, is third-party devs are already, showing how they're not really that interested. I mean, not all of them, obviously. EA in the presentation was making a push, but like we said before, there was a Call of Duty and there was a Assassin's Creed on it. I think there are a couple of FIFAs, but they were like the shit versions that no one cared about.
Yeah.
But,
it's going to be treated as a portable.
No Resident Evil 7.
I mean, I'm not really surprised by that. You mentioned that earlier on, and I thought...
Not that anyone would care, but there's no Borderlands 3.
Oh, no.
I saw that,
but my favourite one was Titanfall, because after Owen told me earlier, I had to get the quote so I could read it in the podcast. Respawn Entertainment's Mohammed Al-Avi, when he was asked if we can expect Titanfall 2 on the Nintendo Switch, I quote, "Fuck no. No. You're not going to be able to fit Titanfall 2. That's the same Zelda for the Wii U." End quote. That's literally the quote.
He was also reported to have laughed, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
he did laugh.
That reminds me of what was it? Will White or whatever his name is, the Sims guy, who said that the Wii was just a souped up GameCube.
Oh yeah,
And like a load of like Nintendo fans got really pissy, and I'm sorry, he's literally right.
Yeah.
So, like, it very literally is just an overclocked GameCube. But
yeah, I mean, in terms of like many of the things that we mentioned earlier are looking like they're kind of going to be problems with the Switch. Not all of them. So I mean, obviously the main thing we said was the name, and that's not going to be a problem because it's a completely new name and it's pretty explanative, I suppose, as much as you probably could be. The name kind of relates to how the console works itself. You switch from one mode to another. It's the Nintendo Switch type thing. It's not like
but the Wii U. It's Wii and you.
Yeah, exactly.
With your friends, which
like
is
it does
ironic,
make we were talking about shit
with
names and that. Like the new 3DS, like the Switch, as far as a name, makes a lick of sense. So
it's competent.
Like when you have
competent.
to go on stage
Good
and
job,
explain
Nintendo.
the name, being like, "Officer, I can explain." Like, it's probably a bad idea to have that as a name.
I don't know what the fuck they were thinking.
I don't think they were.
I mean, it does have a couple of the problems. Like obviously, like I said, third-party support I think is definitely iffy.
They did get NIS on board with Disgaea, which they even said, I think today even, that in terms of making the definitive edition of that game, they actually skipped the Vita this time around instead of to put it on the Switch, which is surprising because they've been all about the Vita since it was released.
I think that the Switch, it's going to be treated like a portable to so many developers. It's going to get the sort of if you liked all that Japanese shit that was on the Vita, I think you'll like the Switch.
I mean, to be honest, hopefully, I mean, to be honest, the best chance the Switch has at succeeding would be to have the same type of library that the 3DS had. Really, 3DS. Fucking complete shit console. I hate it.
The resolution is horrendous.
It's got terrible battery life. It's got a horrible screen. Like, I hate the fucking thumb pad bullshit. But you know what?
It's got Ray Tracer.
Amazing games.
It has a
3DS has
fantastic selection of games.
And I hate it.
Nintendo restricted all of their best games this generation to the 3DS.
Because it's like the Vita, which we mentioned. It's like on paper a better console in almost every way you could possibly put it up against the 3DS. But it's like, unless you really like rhythm games like me or just visual novels.
Or if you're retarded like me and bought one anyway.
Yeah, or if you're retarded like Owen, you would just buy a 3DS if you want a portable console because it's got better games. And at the end of the day, it's a video game console. The games are most important. So, if the Switch could have a library like the 3DS, which, like last week, I was talking about how surprised I was that we didn't hear, I don't think of any 3DS ports to the Switch. I think if it could get a library of really solid games like that,
I would
it'd
be
be great.
fine with that. Like, I know a lot of people would be all up in arms about them re-releasing games, but like,
If
I'd
they
be
were
fine
50
with it.
quid, like the rest, maybe.
Like, make like
I'd
a
be
double
pretty pissed
pack
if
for
I
like Kirby, or like throw those, the N64 Zelda remakes on there. Like, I would totally repurchase that.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is it'd be nice to play those games not having to look at the terrible 3DS screen. I'd get them just for that. But I think a thing with the Switch is also the launch lineup. Not too crisp. I mean, to be honest, it's one of the best Nintendo console lineups I can think of.
And like, I recall there was an image floating around like all week about comparing the Switch lineup to the N64's.
Oh my god, the N64 had 2 games, right?
Yeah, Pilot Wings and Mario 64, and it's like, that was the days of like early polygonal games. Like, I can understand to a degree why they didn't have a lot ready. So I don't know why they're comparing the N64, which
I don't
came
think
out
it's.
in, like,
I don't think it's
96.
I don't think it's up to something for
I think
comparison. I just think it's funny that
it
a
was
console
more
launched with 2
acceptable.
games.
Well, I mean, the SNES launched with F-Zero and something else.
I think it was
more
Pilot
acceptable
Wings.
then.
Good old Pilot Wings. Where's Pilot Wings for the Switch?
Pilot Wings was also a launch title for the 3DS.
Oh yeah,
Give me
it
some of
was,
that Mode
wasn't it?
7.
I mean, that's their ace in the hole. That's why this launch is going to fail.
Has there been a successful Nintendo console that hasn't launched with Pilot Wings?
Has there been a good Pilot Wings game?
Damn.
Has there been a good Nintendo console?
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
A big thing. I have been hearing about the Switch, and because I originally only thought it was Netflix, that the Switch was going to launch without Netflix support, but now it's any media apps. It's not going to launch with one, not Amazon, not YouTube, not even YouTube, nothing, nothing. And like, I think one of the things with a Switch that would be cool, so kids that want to watch their favorite Minecraft Let's Play or favorite CRASSCAST video, would take it off the TV. Their dad would be turn that fucking shit off, and they'd be able to watch it themselves. But it's got.
Oh yeah, because that was the advantage that the Wii U had. Is the Wii U at launch had Netflix, didn't it? So you could.
I think it did, yeah.
So you could use.
So as long as you were like 3 feet from the console, then with direct line of sight, then you'll be able to watch it anywhere.
I remember you talking about using Netflix on the Wii U when it came out, Chris.
Oh no, I tried. I lived in a student dorm.
Oh.
And the kitchen was right next to my room. And I thought, okay, well, I'll be able to use the Wii U gamepad to watch some Netflix. No.
Chris is like the biggest fan of a console the first year, and then he just has deep regret.
And then he sells it.
When you're having the main thing that's going to capture most people is going to be, the adverts that start playing on TV, and you start seeing, right before, well, not right before, but a bit before the console's released, and, after, during its like initial launch period. And them, being able to have a thing where, besides all this games, like, oh, look how cool Zelda looks, it's open world, and, that appeals to, I guess, a broader market. But, taking the Switch off and then, lounging around on the sofa, watching fucking Netflix or something, like, that would be a massive selling point for a lot of people.
Bring back AnonTheAnon.
AnonTheAnon would be like, whoa,
you
can take this off the stand and watch Breaking Bad on it?
Northerners can play games too.
I love Breaking Bad. So yeah, no media options, which
it's pretty much a necessity for systems these days.
Yeah,
and they said, oh, we want to concentrate on the games. What games?
Where are the games, Nintendo?
Where are they?
Where are you hiding them?
We wanted to concentrate on the games, so we don't have video streaming yet. Okay, so it's just not done yet. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I want to mention that because I was gonna talk about the share button only being able to do screenshots.
Oh, it's not a share button. You can't call it that, Matt.
Shut the fuck up, you dumb cunt. The button that shares things.
It's not called the share button. It's called the capture button.
Is that because like Sony or like Microsoft have a thing on the concept of there being a share button?
It's probably. I would imagine it's Sony.
It's probably that, isn't it?
It's probably that Sony.
Basically,
it's probably that Sony has something where like this is the share button.
The X in the concept of a video game is a trademark symbol by Sony.
Okay.
You can't use an X in the context of a video game.
Well, except Microsoft did.
Oh no, that's true. No, you can't use. You can't use.
Nintendo.
Oh yeah,
you can't use squares and circles.
Squares, circles, and triangles.
Yeah, in the context of a video game is Sony intellectual property.
Well, I mean, technically, it's not an X. Oh, yeah. They call it a cross. It's just everyone who isn't retarded.
Why is this
X.
a conversation we're having?
Okay, shut the fuck up.
Okay.
What was I even talking about?
Well, actually, I want to make a point about the no.
You made me forget by being fucking stupid.
Well, I'm
Fuck
sorry.
you guys.
I'm sorry, but I want to. Continue
it was the capture button. You were talking about how it's only screenshots.
Only screenshots for launch. They're saying they're planning to, let you be able to do videos and shit, but no mention of anything to do with live streaming, which I guess people have always been on Nintendo. Well, more like Nintendo have always been on people about people uploading what is their games and shit onto YouTube and Twitch and shit like that.
Which is fair. There's too much video game content on the internet. That's fair.
Yeah. Fuck
go right ahead, Nintendo, please.
Nintendo, please shut down CRASSCAST.
I do hope that when they do sort of expand the capture button, that it's an equally weak ass effort like Mario Kart TV on the Wii U.
God.
I hope it's equally as shite.
Or
Smash, that was
where
garbage.
An update fucking breaks your replays.
Owen, what were you gonna interrupt me for?
No, sorry,
I re-interrupted you.
Well, I was gonna say that just as well as it not having like any like video streaming service like Netflix or Amazon or whatever. It also doesn't have a browser, so you can't even go on to like YouTube.com and watch it through a browser.
Are you kidding?
No. They did. There was an interview with Reggie on this one. They're coming out with a special Nintendo app for your smartphone that you'll be able to go on the internet and browse with this special Nintendo app because it's more convenient than actually having it on the Switch. That's a spicy joke there, but not too far from what they fucking said about voice chat.
Wait. So there's an app on your phone where you can browse the internet.
No, he's joking, Matt.
Oh, he was actually joking.
Yeah, he's joking.
Yeah.
I thought he meant he was joking about what he said, not the feature itself. Because to be honest, having voice chat on the mobile phone is more retarded. Because
in case you don't know, sorry.
Feature of, we talked about it last week.
I wasn't paying attention last week.
We talked about it last week,
I
and
wasn't paying
since then
attention.
it's been, basically confirmed that that is because before last week we were like, we don't know whether it's all going to be through the phone or if that's just going to be editing the party. But no, at least they are definitely pushing it the most. I don't know if they're going to have the feature on the Switch. They haven't said definitely no, but that it's the mobile phone companion app is going to be their main thing for it,
and you have to pay to use it.
Voice chat, and
paying
that was
for
the thing.
VoIP.
And we were also unsure, what are you actually going to have to pay for? And because Xbox and Sony let you have a party even if you're not a subscriber and use voice chat and shit. Not Nintendo.
That's a frustration as well. Like Xbox Live and PlayStation Network actually have some really, really good value adds now. Like
definitely, yeah.
But the what little we know about the online service, just 40 days before the whole thing launches, what very little they've even just given us, so you can make that informed pre-order.
When you want to charge people, when you want to charge people for a service like that, they're being so, shady about it. I think like that they're not saying anything. When you're charging people for a service like that, this close to its launch, I mean, I know it's free until summer, but really, you need to have this on like a website or something, and you need to be black and white about how much it's going to cost.
I think they don't even know themselves. I think that's why it's free until the summer, because it's so unfinished that they couldn't possibly charge for it at this at the quality and the feature set that will that will exist at launch. I bet it's that.
Yeah.
They've got so little of it actually ready that they can't. Oh, we'll have it on summer when we might actually have some features.
Yeah, they talk about it like, oh yeah, we're going to let you try it for free because we're that kind. It's like, no. If you're going to let people try it for free, you would have bundled the system with like a month's free trial of the service.
Yeah, I had assumed it was
say,
just like a glorified stress test.
No, you wouldn't say like that it was. Oh, it's. Yeah, I don't know. You wouldn't say what they were saying if it was out of the kindness of their heart.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
I'm a good person. You're not.
Leading on to really dumb shit by Nintendo, the biggest surprise to me for the last week was the Joy-Con. You know, they showed in all of their presentations, they grip back onto the Joy-Con grip. So, you know, you can play it like a controller. Sweet. And you know what everyone assumes that is? The massive blocky thing? A battery that you can charge up to charge up the Joy-Con and use it as a controller. The one that comes with the console, you cannot charge. You have to buy a separate $30 charging grip.
You see, that's
the most retarded thing.
God damn it.
I wouldn't even mind that much, but it's just another like shit thing that we like find out that wasn't like made clear.
Well, I mean, because
I have one of those that I want to bring up as well.
It's so like because I mean, I know Chris is going to be. Are you poor? It is very expensive.
It's a big investment, especially with all of the accessories like the
exactly
Pro
all the accessories. I'm going to have to
themselves.
fucking buy, and all the games are not. All right, note from last week: not £60, £50. Still too much for 1-2 Switch. But you know.
Even
okay. Sorry, no, it's only £35, which is still about 30 too much for 1-2 Switch.
It's Bomberman that's still 50, right?
Yeah, Bomberman. It got
50,
its official price for $50, £50.
Oh my god!
Fuck off. Ryan, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, as far as one of those things that seemed exciting, and then Nintendo finds a way to disappoint you after the fact, is that earlier this week they had a Fire Emblem Direct, and they had mentioned Fire Emblem Warriors and confirmed it for Switch and the new Nintendo 3DS. So now it's not a Switch exclusive, it's also on the fucking 3DS.
But then they did say for 2018 they're working on a original Fire Emblem.
They said there's going to be a mainline Fire Emblem, which there hasn't been one on a console since 2007.
2007, yeah.
Right.
So they basically said, here, we're going to make one. We're not going to show you anything or talk about it, but there is one coming.
Okay, I want to make a point about that because we talked about this in the podcast last week. We said, why the hell didn't the reveal contain a bunch of yes, we are working on a new Metroid game, or yes, we are working on a new Star Fox game, or whatever, which is what
they're not going to work on a new
Ryan
Star Fox.
Mentioned. Well, I mean, I'm just thinking of Nintendo IPs out of the top of my head. They didn't mention anything, not any we are working on this first-party game. We can't tell you anything because it's still really early development. But
yeah, they did that with the Wii U.
They did that
with Smash and Mario for the Wii U. They had mentioned that they had them in development. And they'll be we'll check back at E3.
Well, they did that with Suda51's game, but that was it.
But that's not a first-party game.
No, they did it with. Oh yeah, I was going to say with first-party ones. No, but they did it with a few. I mean, because they had so little to show, they did it with most of the third-party ones.
Yeah.
The Shin Megami Tensei game and
FIFA.
Like that. FIFA, yeah.
The Octopath
Travelers.
That's the one, yeah.
Like
Octodad?
Fucking garbage. Octodad, I would rather have Octodad use the fucking Joy-Cons as my octopus.
That'd actually
wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
You guys are
It's also, Octodad, which is like a 2-hour game. They have to pay $20 for,
but yeah, my point about that is it doesn't give me much hope that they are actually working on shit. If the announcement they wanted to make was, we're making a new Fire Emblem game, but are you kidding me? So it's not that you're even trying to hide that games that you're working on. You just don't have any then, right?
All of this Switch negativity I'm about to blow it out the fucking water. This is
Alright,
about to be the
okay.
happiest podcast.
Charging grip.
Already said it. This week, we found out there's not going to be 5 launch games. It's going to be 6.
Oh!
The Binding of Isaac coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Are you fucking kidding me?
So what you're saying is basically 5
Afterbirth
games still.
Plus.
So
Yep.
5 games.
Yeah, because basically, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Nisalis.
Yeah,
They
or
did a
Nicalis, or yeah,
Nicalis. I don't know.
fuck, I don't know.
They did a tweet that was promptly deleted.
It was
afterwards.
deleted, yeah.
But it was a picture of the Switch itself, and it showed a couple things which people, took a few things from. So they were like, "Oh, Isaac's lonely," so they showed 2 other games on the Switch.
There were 3. The
menu.
third one, I can't remember the title, but the other 2 were 1001 Spikes
1001
and...
Spikes and Cave Story.
Which Cave Story would be cool, but like...
I don't need Cave Story again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, unless they add something of substance or maybe give it a retail release, I can't see myself buying it for like a 3rd time.
No.
And that developer, if they add anything to it, it'll be shit. So hopefully they add nothing to Cave Story.
Besides, like, those games and the dark theme, there was something else that, was on that screenshot that I didn't see a lot of people talking about. There was a button at the bottom that you could see to switch profiles. Which doesn't sound like a big fucking deal, but it really fucking is on a Nintendo console.
I mean, they already announced that.
And they were, people were speculating that you'll have region-free accounts like PlayStation, like you can switch and then go on to the Japanese eShop.
Well, yeah, they've already said all this. This isn't speculation. They've literally said this.
Oh, have they?
When did they say that?
They said that I think it was like 8 profiles on a single console, and people asked, like, is the eShop going to be region free as well? And they said it will be tied to the country of the account you make.
Bless.
So it is like how it works on PSN, where you can make an American account or a Japanese account and access American or Japanese PSN. So
I'm about to crash it back down into negativity.
Oh yeah.
As the new Zelda game doesn't have dual audio.
Oh, fucking hell.
So I don't get to hear that violent Zelda crying.
And
that was
people
in the
are,
Japanese trailer.
People are talking about how are they going to handle the European release if they do that, because obviously you guys are going to have multiple languages, but I think they said that they could only do one like language per copy or some shit like that.
What?
I don't know. I saw people talking about like how they're gonna do voices for Europe, and like include Spanish and French and all that, because they do all get their own dubs.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
They'll do what they normally do.
Yeah, you're confusing me, Ryan.
I think I'm confusing myself.
No, I mean they're gonna have, obviously. I mean dual audio is in the English and the Japanese ones. I think
I
European
confused
releases
myself
always
by
have.
how people were confused in the comments.
I actually thought you meant stereo sound, and I was like,
Oh God, no!
Nintendo not even having
Of course,
stereo
Nintendo
sound.
has to
Yeah, I'll
fuck it up and
believe
put
that.
it in mono. Hacks.
Thanks, Nintendo. Okay, that's basically everything I had. New shit that's been happening with the Switch.
We've not actually talked about...
NBA
You right?
2K18 confirmed for the Nintendo Switch.
Ending on a high note.
I do want to say, I feel we've been like really negative, but even like
Nothing
the
but
Nintendo Switch subreddit is for the people being like, yeah, I'm cancelling my pre-order now. And like, it's like when even like the subreddit of a Nintendo anything has people like openly being negative and people upvoting that it says something. This from the same subreddit that probably said that the Wii U screen was the best screen I've ever seen. It's great. I hope Nintendo make
screens.
They should make
The
TV,
Wii
so it
U
also has
is
like
the
really
new
shit
Dreamcast.
backwriting.
So with all of this new info and such, what do you think will the fate of the Nintendo Switch be? Do you think it's going to follow in the same path, be a little bit more successful? more unsuccessful?
I think it'll be more successful in terms of games, but I still believe it's just going to be the same old Nintendo as it's been since pretty much GameCube, Wii era. You're going to buy it for Nintendo, and that's pretty much it.
I will say, I do think it's going to be, I don't know how much more successful. I think it will be relatively so, because the main thing that I've noticed is people that I know in real life have actually been talking about it, which I never, ever heard for the Wii U. Not once. And it's this early, before the Switch, and, I've got people at work talking about, Nintendo are having a new console. Oh, look, that Zelda looks good. It's caught, I don't know how much, but a lot more media attention than the Wii U ever did. So I think even on that alone, it has much more of a fighting chance than the Wii U ever did.
That's a really interesting point, because I saw a post that said, like, to many people, this is going to seem like the first Nintendo console in a decade.
Yeah.
Because of how poorly the Wii U... Yeah, it's first Nintendo console in a decade. I feel like, from a software standpoint and from, like, any sort of gaming enthusiast, the Switch is going to be one hell of a disappointment. But I think it has all the potential of being a complete runaway success in sales, because it even stuff like... the vast majority of video game sales are generated by children, right? And so many parents want their iPad back and their kids to stop playing fucking Minecraft on their iPad. Minecraft is going to be on the Switch. Have your Minecraft machine. I want my iPad back.
When you think about it, like, a lot of iPads are more expensive than the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
depending on which one you get.
It's a reasonable price. Yeah. I think $300 for a launch is reasonable.
I mean, because as negative as, because when I was planning out this podcast, I was like, this whole thing is going to be negative as fuck. But then I remembered, like, literally, my last point is, I think it's going to be successful. So,
yeah, I mean, like, I've got my pre-order. I'm keeping my pre-order.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, I'm going to try. I'm going to be
much shit as I will ever talk about the Switch. Take it with the grain of salt that I'm buying one.
Then.
And I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think the hardware. I think obviously it's. I'm looking at it as like a portable console, and it's the most powerful portable console.
Whatever road we travel, it will be interesting for sure. Maybe it'll be disappointing.
I would like to say
interesting.
that I have not pre-ordered a Switch, and I will not be pre-ordering a Switch because
I've
never pre-ordered a console in my life, because that's dumb. But also,
you still bought a Vita.
I didn't pre-order it though.
Yeah, Owen, you bought a Vita.
Yeah.
See, what you do is even more stupid, because like us, you
test the waters and then you fucking do it anyway.
We bought Wii U's and we played. I think all of us played enough.
Yeah.
At least Smash Brothers alone to get our money's worth. You waited to buy a Wii U and a Vita, and you didn't fucking play them at all.
Considerably cheaper.
I'm gonna straight date this.
Considerably cheaper than they were at launch, though.
Yeah, but the thing is like, you still haven't played them, so you threw all that money down the drain, and I bet you'll do the same thing with the Switch.
The difference is that you're all idiots, because why the hell are you sat here talking about the system is shit, it's not got a good launch title, it's not got good launch titles, whatever, and you're still buying it? You're still wasting your money.
The thing is like, a lot of my complaints are like, its launch lineup is bad, but, it's got a couple games that I'm going to play, enough for me. The thing about complaining about the things like that is not only to how they affect me, but to how they'll affect, the general consumer as well. Because personally, I don't give a fucking shit about Netflix on the Switch, because I have everything, all my monitors and everything in front of me anyway. I always use Netflix on my computer.
Yes,
I don't need it on the Switch. But a lot of people do, and that's a negative for the console, And I know that there are a lot, going to be a lot of games coming for the Switch eventually.
Like,
that'll be really interesting.
That's
getting,
how
like, the Mario at Christmas.
That's fine.
And
in
things
which
like
case,
that.
Why not just wait a few months until there are more?
Because I want to play Zelda.
Because at
and
least
I
in
want
my
shiny
case,
piece of hardware.
in my case, there is enough on launch for me, and I'm going to buy it because every Nintendo system I've bought, there's been enough games to justify. I mean, even the Vita, there's enough now to justify it. So there's enough for me, and there will be games coming. Who knows at what pace, but
yeah, exactly.
I know in the long
shit's
run,
coming
I'm going to be happy with
again,
it.
The price isn't going to go far down either.
If it's Nintendo, it's like game-wise, I usually buy Nintendo's games when they come out, even if I don't see myself playing it for a while, just because, like, they don't drop in price, and in some cases, they just end up spiking.
Also, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to be negative than positive.
The price isn't going to go down anytime soon, I get that. What is going to happen, though, is around about Christmas, they're going to start selling bundles that will be the same price with games.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, I could have the nice new shiny now, which is kind of important when you're doing a video game podcast as well.
We'll be like, we will be playing Zelda, and Owen will be like,
I played Destiny.
Don't spoil it, guys.
So, Owen, if you could just like leave CRASSCAST.
Were you about to say you don't give a shit about Zelda when your whole argument last week
I was going to say I don't give a shit because of Zelda. That's the road I'm going to travel when I wait to get the system. If that's what I have to do, then fine.
Okay.
I'd rather not get the system than give a shit about the story being spoiled for me.
Okay. So Owen's not going to have a Switch for 6 months because he wants to save £20 on a bundle. So I hope that 6 months is worth.
When games are £50, it won't be £20 on a bundle. It will be £50 on a bundle.
The only bundle will be like the Wii U.
I will have you know.
Fucking Switch.
I hope to God I hope the only bundle that exists is with 1-2 Switch. I'm banking on that.
Let me tell you how, you can go on Nintendo's official store right now, and you will see a Splatoon and a Mario Kart bundle for the Wii U. You're saving about £20, and if you bought it on launch without with Nintendo Land bundled in, so.
Okay, so Owen's retarded, and the very last thing I want to leave this. It doesn't segment into anything. It's not even really a joke, but ARMS can be played without motion controls. So how about that?
I can't.
It can also just not be played.
Believe that.
You could also just not buy it.
Just not play it.
I was completely expecting a Star Fox thing.
But anyway,
nothing we could do.
The Nintendo Switch is going to be a complete, absolute failure, but we're all buying it except Owen. Thank you for listening to the CRASSCAST Gaming Podcast.
Bye.
Don't forget you can send us an email, contact@crasscast.com, and we'll read out any shite you send to us. Literally anything. Just spam the letter A, and I'll get Owen to shout as loud as he can.
Letter right there.
It's a classic. The original.
The first, as some would say.
You can go to crasscast.com to be redirected to the YouTube page. Also, you can follow CRASSCAST on SoundCloud and Twitter, just under the name CRASSCAST. And thank you for listening to this incredibly shit podcast, Owen's Fired. See you next week.